Crossroads by Hogan. The devil was waiting at the crossroads. "Howdy," I said, as I drew level. He was sat on a fence that looked too slight to hold him. Not that he was a big fella. He was kind of slim, about my height, well-dressed, his ancient face weathered and tanned. He gave me a nod. "Been here long?" I asked. "Some," he replied. I dropped my kit bag to the scorched grass before carefully lowering my guitar. We stood a while in mutual silence. "Where you heading?" he asked. "Oh, I'm not particular," I replied. "Anywhere, except maybe back where I came from." He peered over my shoulder, looking across the prairie as if he could see the mess I'd left behind. He smiled and patted the black case by his side. "Shall we play some to pass the time?" "Sure." I shrugged and bent the burlap I carried my guitar in. By the time I'd untangled the old thing, he was sitting there, an ebony black guitar slung over his narrow shoulders. "Nice guitar," I said. He plucked a few strings, the mournful chords floating out into the early evening air. Thanks. I watched his fingers dance lightly over the strings. Not a tune exactly, but not warming up either. He drew to a halt. "Seems about right." And then he looked back over at me. I raised a knee, resting my boot on the bone-white fence, and lifted the battered instrument higher onto my lap. After the miles that I'd already trekked that day, it was hardly a surprise there wasn't a string in tune. I bent to my task, tweaking the keys, while he just sat there, his eyes closed, until I was done. "Your top string's a touch low," he said. I gripped the nub of wood left where the peg had once long since snapped off, fighting the tension in the string until I was sure I'd got it just right, feeling the blush fade. Then I defiantly lifted my head once more. "Seems about right," I mimicked. "Well now," he drawled, amused. "Perhaps you'd like a little sport. Something to make things more interesting." I stared at him. What you have in mind?" I stammered, suddenly thinking that what my soul was worth and what I would trade it for. He looked at me long and hard, unblinking, until I dragged my gaze away. "Your guitar," he said, "for mine." I laughed, feeling the sudden release of tension, and looked once again at the smooth black surface of his guitar, so dense and dark I could hardly see the grain of the wood, so dense I had to wonder if it were wood at all. "What's in it for you?" I asked. "Your guitar," he repeated. "Right. But it's simple enough," he said. "If you can play better than me, then you deserve my guitar. And if you can, well, we just pass some time. And nothing has really changed at all, has it?" I couldn't see the downside, and told him so. He gave me a strange look that made me shiver, like when had just arrived that moment. You'll see. I strummed my strings thoughtfully, then looked up at him where he waited, wondering what he was waiting for. You first, I said, and his face creased up once more into an easy grin. And then he played. He was good. Oh yeah. That pitch black guitar had a soulful resonance, a depth that even the wide open outdoors couldn't dull. And his playing, he was real good, heart-wrenchingly good. When he was done, I gave the silence a respectful measure, blinking moisture from my eye. Nice. I said, very nice. He said nothing, just tilted his head. Your turn, he was silently telling me. Of course, I already knew he'd won, but still, I wanted to play as well as I could. When you hear someone that good, that special, you want them to at least acknowledge you, to give you a nod of respect, of approval. Though after a minute or so, thoughts of that and everything else drifted away on the soft prairie wind, and I was just playing for the fun of it, like I always used to. Then my mind stumbled over thinking of the last time I played that particular tune, and who to, and what happened after, and that returned me with a sickening bump to the here and now. As the final chords jarred under my hesitant fingers, I looked up at my audience of one and gave him a smile. No need for a recount, I said. He shook his head. Don't be so hasty, he said. Seems it ain't entirely fair. Seems like you played well enough, but maybe that old guitar of yours ain't as good as you are. What say we swap and play one more round? Well, I was keen enough. I've been itching to get my hands on that guitar since I first seen it. I shrugged nonchalantly, and he lifted the sleek black instrument over his head, and with a hand supporting the body and one on the neck, held it out to me. Damn, if it wasn't the heaviest guitar I'd ever hefted. I thought his two-handed grip was him just being extra careful with it. And I paid him and it the same respect. Good thing too, as I would have dropped it otherwise. Oh, it wasn't as heavy as a keg of beer, or a young heifer, or even Mary Lou. All of which I hoisted in my time, but it was at least 3 times the weight of my cedarwood. Uncommon heavy for a guitar. I balanced it carefully, feeling the coolness of its surface, easing its weight into a comfortable position. I gave its owner a wry grin, hardly knowing where to begin. Tried a few strings, then drew to a stop. The sound was clashing with itself. The tone wood kept the vibration going seemingly forever. I slowed it down, but it was still too fast. The noise an ugly jangle. Slowed it down once more until it was almost a dirge, a lament, and the strings came alive under my fingers. It sure was hell to play, but the sound built and built until it was almost playing itself. When the final note was still dying, I looked around in surprise to see the stranger cinch tight the cord on my burlap bag. He nodded. Congratulations. He said that, stood to go. Wait! I cried, confused. You're not going to play? He shook his head slowly. Nope, no point. I know when I'm beat. Enjoy your prize and see you around. I'd like to say there was a moment of dark premonition as I watched him walk lightly away. His only baggage, the guitar my brother had left me that day long ways back. But I'd be lying. Truth was, as I carefully laid the black guitar in its jet black case, I could hardly believe my good fortune, hardly believe it was really mine. I've been playing that guitar ever since. Or it has been playing me. Because since I picked up that guitar, I can't play no other. I can hardly bear the thought of letting it out my sight. And even when I'm on the move, riding on the back of a pickup, the guitar safely in its case, I can still feel the smooth wood beneath my fingers, sense the taut strings, almost hear the notes I'll play as soon as we come to a stop. It's brought me some success, sure. I make ends meet. I never want for a meal, or a drink, or a bed to lie in. The dark guitar on its own brings respect. And I only have to strum a few bars to secure a gig most any place I want to play. But not many places invite me back. The sound is so beguiling, so sorrowful, so sad. It ain't exactly what most joints want here. But I can't play nothing else. Damn guitar won't let me play nothing but the bleakest of blues, the music to make grown men cry. Lost soul music. Music that, come the cold light of morning, casts a funereal pallor over the places I've played. So I have to keep moving, lugging my burden with me. And the burden is a heavy one. Tain't just the weight neither. It's the fear of damage. The fact I can't ever let no one else play, no matter who. And that distances me from my fellow musicians. The girls want to touch it as well. The girls, it, and my playing the tracks. And there's no shortage of them. But they all damaged. Bad for me. And I, bad for them. Another reason to keep on moving. One day, maybe, I'll tear myself loose. Find a crossroads to sit at, wait for some wet behind the ears farm boy running from his past or seeking his fame, his fortune. I'll eye his lightweight, homespun, hand-me-down guitar with envy. And I'll offer him a trade, his guitar for mine, and head the way he came, to a simpler life, to somewhere I can stop running, settle down, and find somewhere I can play the songs I used to play. Songs of friendship, of simple pleasures, of love. Until then, I dance to the tune of this black night. Heavy as sin, demanding as the devil himself. And play on.